For the femur x-ray, you want to do this with the IR and the bucky, because this is where you're getting into thicker anatomy, and usually you want to start using the bucky when the body part measures 12 centimeters or more. So I have a 14 by 17 or 35 by 43 centimeter in the bucky. I'm going to use the length of the cassette to get the majority of the femur as well as the knee joint, because we're pretending her injury is in the distal knee. So you have the light about 2 inches beyond the knee joint, and then where the light field ends, we will get on our second image, which will be a 10 by 12 to include the proximal femur and the hip joint. Just keep in mind, whenever you're dealing with long bones, you want to include both joints. Okay, now I'm going to rotate the leg inward. Okay, and this will be our AP femur to include the distal femur. Okay, now we'll change out the IR and put in a 10 by 12. Okay, so now we will get the proximal portion of the femur. Now, when you palpate the ASIS, if you put the top of the light field at the ASIS, and we have a 10 by 12 light field, so top of the light, ASIS, it's going to have the proximal portion of the femur on here. It will also include the hip joint. And if you want to double check, you can draw your imaginary line from the ASIS to the pubic symphysis, okay? And then you're going to go down about 2.5 inches to be at the neck of the femur. So this is our AP of the proximal femur. Next we're going to do a lateral, so I'm going to have the patient roll up onto the left side. And when we do a lateral femur, we're going to have to do this in 2 parts. First we're going to include the hip joint. Okay, so I've got a 10 by 12 loaded in, and I'm going to palpate the ASIS at the top of the light field at the ASIS. Okay, and then here is the femur, so your light is, the longitudinal line is going to be down the middle of the femur. Now you want to make sure that this upside hip is out of the way. If it's leaned forward too much, it's going to superimpose over the hip that's down, and that's what we're wanting to see better, is the proximal femur with the hip joint. So we have our femur out of the way, and we'll be getting our proximal femur to include the hip joint on this lateral. Then next we'll do the distal portion of the femur. And with this we'll go with our 14 by 17. And you can place your marker directly on the IR, and since we're doing the left femur, I have my left marker on the IR. Okay, now with this projection, I'm going to have the patient cross this top leg all the way over. I'm going to bring this femur back, okay, and then on this projection we're going to get the femur on beyond the knee. So the light field will look about 2 inches below the knee. Okay, the top of the light field will go all the way up till it hits this edge of the back of the thigh. Okay, so this will be our lateral knee, our lateral femur to include the knee. Okay, you can relax now.